And I guess we're going to start with this, Romp. Now, keep in mind, you guys, we're both going off fumes right now. Really, our thoughts and mindset is on the draft tomorrow. So these are just our reactions and thoughts. But let's start with this, Romp. According to my boy, Jake Fisher, the Sun from Bleacher Report and The Athletic and everything, the Suns have gauged trade value on Jay Crowder. Now, what does that even mean? I have no clue. Maybe they're just fielding calls, taking calls. Hey, what would you take for Jay Crowder? And would you guys take this? So, Romp, just any thoughts on the whole Jay Crowder thing? You think it's BS? Do you think the Suns should trade Jay Crowder? What do you think, man?
I have my feelings about Jay Crowder because he's pretty streaky, but I feel like he's kind of underrated too in terms of his impact, especially in the locker room as a leader and stuff like that.
Mm.
And I think he's kind of a guy where you don't even need to gauge his value. He's pretty much valuable to any contending team in the NBA because he's just a plug and play type player.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the scary thing about Jay Crowder for me for the Suns is he was more valuable to their offense than like Cam Reddish and Mikal Bridges. And like that's just the indictment on their system, to be honest with you, because Jay Crowder really is just a catch and shoot shooter, and he was still more valuable than like a talented prospect like Mikal and Cam Johnson. So I feel like that kind of scares me. You know what I'm saying? Does that
Right.
make sense?
No, that totally makes sense. So, what Jake Fisher has written here is Phoenix has called rivals to measure Jay Crowder's value on the trade market, sources said. While the Suns have linked once again, keywords there, once again, to Eric Gordon, Phoenix held discussions with Houston to acquire Gordon, a former teammate of Chris Paul with the Rockets, blah, blah, blah. Back in February's trade deadline, blah, blah. But then there's a little nugget here, which I kind of talked about in yesterday's live stream. Phoenix is also said to be searching for a second round selection. Now, I actually like Jay Crowder more than others. Sometimes I feel like Suns fans like to pick on him, like I told you, Romp. I feel like they like to pick on him to let out their frustrations, but he's a great player. He plays hard, he fights hard, streaky shooter. I'm not saying he does everything
Very
great on the
streaky.
court. Yes, very streaky shooter. I'm not saying he's the best player or anything. And kind of like you mentioned, he's not a true power forward, which, maybe we could talk about that later, is the Suns need a true power forward. But, he's a great player. He's a veteran in this league. He's been to the finals, twice, played for multiple teams, great locker room guy. And I would be a little sad if the Suns traded Jake Crowder, but it is interesting that we're starting to hear reports of they are taking calls and seeing what his value is out there. So Romp, we're going to unless you have other Jay Crowder thoughts, we're going to flip the script and I'll get your quick thoughts on, as it's being reported here, that the Suns are also searching for a second round selection. And then it was reported yesterday the Suns want to buy a second round selection. So any thoughts on the Suns potentially getting a second round pick?
It would be interesting. I don't know where they would be, whether early second round, late second round.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to buy a second round pick, wouldn't it make more sense? Do you want to get it early? I guess you could say, because like, wouldn't you just wait for an undrafted player? If you're buying a late second round pick. So I'm
Yeah. Right.
assuming probably like 30 to 40 range, 30
Yeah.
to 45 or something like that. I don't know. I don't really know many second round prospects. Maybe Christian Braun from Kansas. But I don't really see a second round player coming in and making an impact for the Suns.
I talked about
If
that
I'm
last night. Yeah.
if I'm being real, I think you maybe Tyrese Martin from UConn. He kind of fits the mold of what the Suns look for in a player. He's 6'8", has like a 6'9" wingspan. He's a wing position player. He pretty much does everything. His only weaknesses is his offensive creation ability. He's not going to create his own shot consistently in the NBA, but everything else is very, very good. But the thing is, he's 23 years old, and he really didn't, he really didn't do anything crazy in college. But
Right.
also, he was an amazing defender. He can switch 1 through 3, basically. And he has an NBA ready body, 6'8", 215 from UConn. He grew up around my area, so obviously I got to
Awesome.
support my guy.
Yeah.
And I think he definitely is going to be an NBA player one day. And I think someone's going to give him a chance. And the Suns, they like to make under the radar moves, and I could see them finding a diamond in the rough in terms of an undrafted free agent or a second round talent.
I appreciate your insight on those picks, man, because you know me, I'm not really a draft expert. I feel like I've done a respectable amount of homework on this class, but especially when it comes to the second round, I have no clue. And I'm so excited for tomorrow's draft. That is an understatement. And you are right. Like the Phoenix Suns, they kind of keep things close to the chest for the most part. And James Jones, we could spend a whole hour on what James Jones is doing in terms of scouting and the draft and everything, because a huge report came out today. We're gonna talk about that at another time. I'm probably gonna make a video on it. But yeah, the Phoenix Suns are playing things close to the chest. And a lot of this could just be rumors and speculation, Romp. You already know this because the whole Cam Johnson thing, I didn't buy that shit yesterday. A lot of they call it smoke screen for a reason. I'm sure you being a Sixers fan, which by the way, both of your channels are linked down below in the description. Go check out my friend, my guest, my boy Romp 2.0. Go check out his channels. A lot of smoke screen, a lot of BS sometimes, Romp. I know you know that as a Sixers fan.
What about Kai Soto? The chat loves Kai Soto. I love me some Kai Soto because if you upload a video on YouTube about Kai Soto, it's blowing up. So I'm a big Kai Soto fan.
Yeah, I've seen a couple. Kai, go ahead.
Yeah, I think he has a well-polished game, especially for a 7'3" players. He's listed at 7'2", but a lot of people say all the Philippine fans in my comment section was like, "Oh, he's 7'3" now." So I'm gonna say he's 7'3", and he just moves well for his size, in my opinion. And Monty Williams has like a full video on YouTube. If you look up Kai Soto, Monty Williams, he has a full video explaining like his game. I didn't watch it, but it's something interesting that Suns fans should check out. And if they're interested in a second round pick, it seems like, I don't know, maybe they're trying to get him, especially with, the whole DeAndre Ayton situation. It looks like he's going to be gone. So getting a replacement, a young, fresh prospect could be intriguing.
Thank you for that insight and analysis on Kai Soto. He is a prodigy from what I know and very intriguing. And before we talk about the DeAndre Ayton thing, I'll just say this. If the Suns do get a second round pick, I think it will just be for development, which, I mean, we kind of tried to do that with Jalen Smith and we failed. But I think there's a reason we'll be getting a second round pick, maybe for emergencies. You just never know. But hey, we already had a young prospect. His name was Jalen Smith.